Hello everyone! Welcome back to our channel. Rolex holds a special place within the world of high-end mechanical watches. It's the foremost valuable luxury watch brand within the world. Rolex is additionally one among the foremost expensive watch brands. The Swiss manufacturer produces iconic models that became a real status symbol. Owning an up-to-date Rolex Day Date or a vintage Submariner, for instance, tells tons about who you're and what you've accomplished in your life. Today, I'm not talking about the most expensive Rolex watches ever, starting off the list with the least expensive one. Number 10. Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearl Master. The Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearl Master is the 8th most expensive Rolex ever sold. Photo by Saint Blanc. Unlike its modern sibling, the Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearl Master is predicated on the Day Date collection rather than the Datejust. The limited edition watch is formed from meteorite diamond and has 42 diamonds on its custom bezel. The 39mm dial watch was first released in 2011 for $277,850. Number 9. James Bond's 1972 Rolex Submariner. Roger Moore's 1972 Rolex Submariner is the 7th costliest Rolex watch sold in auction. Photo by Phillips. Yet another Submariner in our list of the foremost expensive Rolex watches ever sold. This one is the actual watch worn by Sir Roger Moore while playing Bond in Live and Let Die in 1973. The watch was sold for $365,000 at a Phillips auction in Geneva in 2015. The watch was modified for the movie. In particular, the bezel was changed to seem sort of a buzzsaw. It is employed by Bond within the movie to chop a rope. The watch's magnetic field is additionally one to unzip Miss Caruso's dress. Number 8. Rolex GMT Master Ice. This Rolex GMT Master Ice is the watch that football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo wore during the 14th Dubai International Sports Conference. It is the most expensive new Rolex you'll buy. It retails for $485,350, but its price might vary counting on the market value for diamonds at the time of your purchase. The Rolex GMT Master 2 Ice is entirely covered in precious stones and made up of alloy. The dial has a stimulating wave pattern of diamonds and gold. The rest of the case hasn't been compromised by the in-house customization. You get all the equivalent features and performance that the fashionable Rolex GMT delivers, including a waterproof case up to 100 meters and 50 hours of power reserve. The dial featured the classic GMT second user to line a second zone. Number 7. Jack Nicklaus Rolex Day Date. Jack Nicklaus Rolex Day Dates sold for $1.22 million in December 2019. Rolex gave this yellow gold Day Date to legendary golfer Nicklaus in 1967. He has only worn it a day since then. Jack Nicklaus, referred to as the Golden Bear, wore this Rolex when he won 12 of his record 18 professional major championship titles. The watch was also often photographed when Nicklaus hoisted the championship trophy following his victories. The yellow gold Day Date on a President bracelet is Rolex's most prestigious model and one of the world's most famous watches. This is the very first watch I ever owned, and therefore the only watch I wore for each professional tournament I've won throughout my career, Nicklaus said. It has accompanied me at US Opens, Masters tournaments, PGA Championships, Open Championships, and countless other events for over 5 decades, and has served me well at every step along the way. Number 6. Eric Clapton's Rolex Oyster Albino. Eric Clapton's Rolex Oyster Albino Cosmograph Daytona is the 5th costliest Rolex watch ever sold. Photo by Phillips. Eric Clapton's Daytona, dubbed the Rolex Oyster Albino Cosmograph, sold not once but twice for substantial amounts during public auctions. The first time was in 2003 in NY, where the watch was bought for $505,000 during an auction organized by Sotheby's. 12 years later, in May 2015, Eric Clapton's Daytona was sold once more, but this time for $1.4 million at a Phillips auction in Geneva, nearly 3 times its previous price. Number 5. Marlon Brando's Apocalypse, now Rolex GMT Master. Marlon Brando's Apocalypse, now Rolex GMT Master, sold for $1.952 million in December 2019. This Rolex GMT reference 16705 worn by Marlon Brando in the movie Apocalypse now was sold for $1.952 million at a Phillips auction in December 2019. The auction appropriately named the Phillips Game Changers event, saw the Rolex GMT Master manufactured in 1972 sell well above the expected price. Marlon Brando, an Academy Award winner, wore the watch on a black strap with its bezel missing. Francis Ford Coppola had indeed asked Brando to get rid of the bezel because it would stand out an excessive amount within the movie. The watch is also unique because Brando carved his name on its back. It sold after a quarter-hour of intense bidding. Number 4. Anton Magnetique Reference 4113 from 1942. The Rolex Anton Magnetique Reference 4113 from 1942 is the fourth costliest Rolex watch in the world. Photo by Phillips. The 1942 Anton Magnetique Reference 4113 is the oldest Rolex on our list after selling for nearly $2.5 million during a Phillips auction in Geneva in 2016. It comes in a very large case considering its production year, at 44 millimeters. It is actually the most important case ever built by Rolex. Only 12 samples of the reference 4113 are known to still exist today. The watch was initially produced as a present to celebrate the victory of a racing team. Interestingly, this particular model had been sold just 3 years before, in 2013 for $1.16 million at Christie's. It's another example of the steep increase for rare Rolex models. Number 3. The Rolex Bob Dye. The Rolex Bob Dye is the third costliest Rolex watch ever sold. Photo by Nguy. The Rolex Bob Dye is certainly one among the foremost instantly recognizable models among watch fans. Based on the Rolex reference 6062, this watch was initially sold to the last emperor of the Nguyen Dynasty in Vietnam in 1954. At the time, this was the most expensive model in Rolex's collection. The gold case and black dial were the rarest configurations available. Only 3 were ever produced, consistent with Nguy. And this piece is just one of the 3 to possess diamond markers on the even hours. Number 2. The 1971 Rolex Daytona Reference 626 Unicorn. The 1971 Rolex Daytona Reference 626 Unicorn is the second costliest Rolex. Photo by Phillips. Uniqueness and rarity explain the worth of this 1970 Rolex Daytona that was sold for $5.9 million in 2018. The reference 62625 is the only model available in 18-karat alloy, hence its unicorn nickname. The vast majority of Rolex Daytona produced at the time was stainless steel. Besides its precious material, the story of the watch is itself interesting. Few people had ever heard of it until it had been announced in 2013 that famous Rolex collector John Goldberger had acquired the watch. Number 1. Paul Newman's Rolex Daytona. Paul Newman's Rolex Daytona is the costliest Rolex watch ever sold. Photo by Phillips. Paul Newman's Rolex Daytona isn't only the foremost expensive Rolex ever sold, but it's also the foremost expensive watch ever sold in the world. It easily beat the previous record set by a 1943 Patek Philippe calendar chronograph that sold for $11 million in 2016. The opening bid for Paul Newman's Daytona started at $1 million but was immediately raised to $10 million by the first bidder, stunning the entire auction room at Phillips. Only 2 bidders then fought for the watch to finally settle its price at $17.8 million. While relatively well preserved, this Rolex Daytona isn't particularly rare nor made up of precious materials. But its unique story is what watch collectors are most curious about. It was given to Paul Newman by his wife, Joanne Woodward, while he was playing in the movie Winning. With this, I'm wrapping up this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it and found it informative. If you did, do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell icon to never miss any update.